Hello, my name is Aaron Curtis. I'm in Group One. Unfortunately, you have to only listen to me. My one partner has dropped the class. That's okay. Everything will work out. So, Chapter One is what my group got assigned, being an odd number group, and it's Agile Continuous Delivery and the three ways. I figured an appropriate way to start the presentation would be to go over a couple of definitions. Agile is defined as or Agile project management is an iterative approach to planning and guiding project processes. And an Agile project is completed in small sections called iterations. Continuous delivery, continuous delivery is fairly self-explanatory. It's the ability to get changes of all types, including new features into production or into the hands of users safely and quickly in a sustainable way. The three ways are flow, feedback, continual learning, and experimentation. These are not as self-explanatory, but we will go into a little bit more detail of those a little bit later on in the presentation. So we will get some more detail on those. Now, initially, value stream in the chapter, value stream is something very important that it talks about in the chapter. The value stream is defined as the value of all activities required to design, produce, and deliver a good or service to a customer, including the dual flows of information and material. So, for example, by trade, and I work for a company that we build data center networks. We go through a planning process, then we go through a build process, and then we go through a handover process. And each of these processes during the life are all included in the value stream. Some of them may require a lot more work than others, but all of them combined are are part of the value stream. Now, the lead time versus processing time, they're both very valuable amounts of time to keep, or amounts are very valuable, quantifiable times to keep track of. The lead time is defined by when the ticket is created, according as you can see in this diagram to the left of the picture. The lead time is when the ticket is created or the request is submitted to when the work is completed. That is the total lead time. The process time is a smaller window where it only counts from when the work is started to when the work is completed. Now, the reason why these are important times is because, uh, especially with agile management, we're trying to improve the process to be as sustainable as possible and work through these iterations like we talked about. When we're looking for areas to improve our process time, uh, a lot of people get stuck on that. What can we do now? What our processes? What are we doing? What can we code faster? Can we do this? What can we do to hand over the project sooner? However, one of the bigger chunks of area where we need to, where we can find the biggest time that we can oftentimes cut out is in the lead time from when the ticket is created to when we actually start working. If you see this, I did a little bit of research and I found that oftentimes the amount of time actually spent working on an issue is not well. Let me rephrase that. The time from when the ticket created to when work starts on a project can be very significant, and depending on the project, can be as long or longer than the total amount of time spent actually working on the project. So moving on, lead times can get astronomical depending on the development scenarios. I kind of liked this diagram that they sent over here. Uh, I mean, my company, we employ various PMs, and they're great project managers. They really are. Uh, the issue has to do with an ever changing um, desires from the customer, and due to a lot of issues, we have a company or a project we're currently working on that if we drew out the flow of things would look kind of like this, because at one point they say they want something, then they change it 2 months down the line, then they say they want it back, and then they say no, this is what we wanted, and it's just constantly changing, and we're constantly having to change what it is we're going to be handing over to the customer. Now, DevOps. DevOps is this grand idea in software engineering that you strongly, let me read it. They're going to be able to word it a lot better than I am. DevOps is a software engineering culture and practice with the main characteristics of strongly advocating automation and monitoring at all steps of software production. Now, that being said, this little diagram to the right, it's in the reading. So if you want to see it, that's where I grabbed this picture from. You can see that by automating many steps, they're able, or some steps, they're able to cut down on the total cycle time significantly. Whereas if you had to wait for a manual testing, or if you had to wait for manual approval on all steps, then you may exaggerate this time significantly. It's from being 25 minutes, maybe it's a 3 day, 36 hours. I can't count, 72 hours, excuse me. Um, but it's by automating and by streamlining processes, we can cut down significantly on the amount of time spent. Now, I promise you, we talk more about the three ways, and here it is. The three ways, if you look at the beautiful blue lines, those are diagrams or pictures of what the three ways represent. The first way is to enable fast left to right flow. So essentially, it's all of this is about communication, and so we're going to facilitate or enable faster um, flow from development to operations. Now, the second way, you know, also encompasses the first way, but it more is concerned with the opposite. So, getting communication from operations back to development. If you think about it, that can be of huge importance. If development designs a program and it gets clear up to operations, they're testing, and they decide, hey, you know what, this is not what we need. This is there, or there's a bug. You have to have that flow of information back to development to explain what is needed along the way. Now, the third way encompasses the first way and the second way as well. And this is where you get agile. It's iterative. So basically, what it's saying is you're going through all first way, second way repeatedly. And as it says here, the third way enables the creation of a generative, high trust culture by shortening and amplifying our feedback loops. We are able to create safer systems to take risks and perform experiments, helping us win the marketplace. By being able to do this, if I go back to the first couple of slides, the continual learning and experimentation, by facilitating this constant communication back and forth between development and operations, we're able to, as it says here, create safer systems where we can test, we can learn, we can experiment, which is incredibly important. Now, that's the end of my presentation. I'm now going to show you my beautiful, beautiful face here. There we go. Hi, I'm Aaron. It was nice to meet you. Hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please let me know. Talk to you later. Bye.